Hi everybody, today I am going to teach you the trigonometry. Whenever you are afraid as a student in class 6, 7, 8, then you get afraid when you listen the name of trigonometry because it has made the broad consensus what is the trigonometry, and trigonometry is very hard and it is very tough of the mathematics. But in this video you will get to know easily about the trigonometry, how the trigonometric function work like the sine, cos, tan, and how this apply. It is only for the valid for the right angle triangle, and how this thing you will get to learn today. So before teaching you the trigonometry, I would like to introduce something about the trigonometry. It is it has a separate branch of mathematics of the trigonometry, in which the trigonometry always deal with the right angle triangle. It is not valid for the any type of triangle like the isosceles, a scalene, equilateral, and any other type of triangle. It is only valid for the right angle triangle, in which one angle is the 90. In this you could see here with us in this image A, B, C. One angle is the 90 degree. So the trigonometry applied to the this triangle, not in this triangle which is an equilateral triangle. Trigonometry cannot be applied in this triangle. It will only applied in this triangle. So in this thing, and if I will ask you which is the base in this triangle, then you may be answer the AB is the base in this triangle, but you are wrong. What is the base? Is this AB will be the base? No, even though you are the wrong. The base you cannot determine, because base you can determine only when I will ask you in the relative of some angle. Just like if I will say this in the relative of V, then you could say in the relative of B, or it is considered as the theta. What is theta? Theta is the angle between the two rays of line, with theta value is always greater than 0 and less than 90. So theta is always greater than 0 and less than 90. So you could write that theta is greater than 0 and less than 90. So how can you say that this is this angle is the less than 0 and greater than 90? Because you know that all the angle of a triangle is the 180, and one angle is already the 90. So this angle B and angle C, sum will be the 90, and if the two angles sum is the 90, then it is the complementary angle. So B and C is the complementary angle. That means this theta will be greater than 0, because if the theta is equal to 0, then it cannot be a triangle, because in the three triangle you have to get some angle, even though anything. And if I will keep it the 90, this one and this one 90, so how can it form a triangle? So this is the theta, what we call is greater than 0, less than 90. You may understand. So just come over the topic. So how will you determine the base in this triangle? If I will ask the base in this triangle in the relative of the theta or angle B, then you will get to say that AB is the base and the AC is the perpendicular, and it will be always hypotenuse. So if I will ask again the base relative to the C, if I will ask the base relative to the C, angle C, then you will say that AB is the perpendicular and AC is the base. So you may understand that without in the relative, you cannot determine which side is the base or perpendicular. So I think you may understand how will you determine which one is the base and which one is the perpendicular. So if I will take the B as a relative angle, and then if I will ask you which one is the base, then you will say that AB is the base in the relative of the B or the theta. So this one will be a base, and if this one is the base, and it will always a perpendicular, and then it will always a hypotenuse, then it will be a perpendicular, because if this one is the base and it always to be hypotenuse, this remaining side will be a perpendicular. So how the sine cos tan applied in the right angle? So sine cos tan is nothing abroad. It is just a ratio between the two things, like the two sides of a triangle. Just like if I will ask you what is the sine, So sine is nothing, sine theta. In relative you have to add the theta. So if I will ask you the sine theta, what is the sine theta? Here the sine theta, what is the sine theta? You may have listened many times but you don't know about this, so in this video you will get to know about this. So sine theta, that means you are able to see this. Here we have the sine theta, that means I talking about the theta, that means you have to determine the base or perpendicular or hypotenuse according to the this theta. So here we have the theta, so this one is the base and it is a perpendicular, good. But sine theta, what is the meaning sine? Sine means it is the ratio of the perpendicular and the hypotenuse. So you could write here the P upon H. So which one is the P in this figure or in this triangle according to this theta? So according to this theta, the P is the AC. So AC is written as the P and the hypotenuse is the BC. So BC is written as the hypotenuse. So this is the sine theta. So all the 6 trigonometric ratios are like this, just like the cos theta. If I will say what is the cos theta in this triangle, so cos theta is a trigonometric ratio of the base upon the hypotenuse. So in this image, what is the base? So base will be according to the relative theta, the base will be AB. So here we have the AB is the base and the hypotenuse is again BC. So BC is the hypotenuse. And the another term which you have written, the tan theta. What is the tan theta? So tan theta is the ratio of perpendicular by upon base. So it is the perpendicular by base. So which one is the perpendicular? AC is the perpendicular. AC is the perpendicular and the base is the AB. And AB is the base. So three main things which you may have listened, the sine, cos, tan, and its opposite ratio also here we have. Which one is the sine? Sine's opposite ratio is called the cosec. If the sine opposite ratio, I am saying the opposite or the its reciprocal. So its opposite is the cosec theta. So what is its opposite? This one is the P upon H. Then its opposite is H upon P. So what is H upon P in this image? In this figure, the H is the BC and the P is the AB. So this is the cosec and cos theta. Its opposite is the sec theta. Sec theta, its opposite. I am saying the cos theta's opposite is the sec theta. Then its ratio will be also opposite. Let's say this one is the B by H. Then its opposite will be H by B. And what is the H? H is the BC. BC is the H and the base is the AB. Base is the AB. So you may understand what is the sine, cos, and its tan opposite is the cot theta. Which one is the B by P? According to this image, you could write what will be, and this is your homework in the term of theta or in the relative term of theta. So what is the sine, cos, tan? You may get to know about this, or you may familiar with this term, the sine, cos, tan, theta. You have not to afraid from the sine, cos, tan, theta, because this is the very easy thing. So I have written here in the short what is its opposite. So sine's opposite is the P by cosec, and the cos opposite is sec, and tan opposite is cot. So what is the actually mean by sine? So sine means P by H and the cos means B by H and the tan means P by B. So this is how, and its opposite cot you have to remember, then its opposite then B by H. So how could you remember this thing? Then we have a trick for you to remember this thing in the mind whenever I will ask to you. So this trick is पापा बियर पिएंगे हाँ हाँ बेटा. So this trick is written as पापा बियर पिएंगे हाँ हाँ बेटा. So in this trick, this is what? It is the sine, and this is what? It is the cos, and it is the tan. So you could remember by this trick sine, cos, tan, and its opposite is cosec. That means H upon P. Its opposite is sec. cos opposite is sec, then h upon b, and its opposite is cot. And in this way you could remember these ratios, how these ratios work. So if I will say in this image, even in this image I have removed all these three, and if I again ask which is the base, then you will say your question is the wrong, because you have to give some relative angles, then I can determine which one is the base or perpendicular. You could determine only the hypotenuse whenever I will not set any type of relative angle. So if I will given you this one is the relative, in this relative you have to tell which one is the base. So in this relative, here we have the theta is in the relative, then according to this theta, AB, the AC will be a base and this one will be the perpendicular. You may get afraid about this, but this is what the real. If AC become the base, because I recognize theta as a relative. In this relative I ask you. So according to this theta, I given some values like the here we have 3, 4 and 5. This one is the 3's, you could take is meter, meter and meter. So if I will ask you what is the sine theta, what is the sine theta? So written the sine theta. So what is the meaning sine theta? Sine theta is the ratio of P by H. So here you have to write P by H. According to this theta, what will be the P? According to this theta, it will be a base and it will be a perpendicular. So you will write the 4 and the hypotenuse is the 5. So sine theta is nothing but 4 by 5. This will be answer whenever I ask sine theta. If I will ask you its opposite cos theta, cosec theta. So cosec theta is the opposite to the sine theta. So its opposite is 5 by 4, or you could also recognize as what is the meaning cosec theta? Cosec theta is h upon p. So h is this and p is this. According to this theta, so I can understand that you may get to know about what is sine, cos and tan actually. And if I will say, tell you sine b, so in this case I recognize angle b as a relative. According to this you have to tell the value of the sine b. So when I recognize b, then you have to erase this one and write here the theta, because I recognize b. According to the b, it will be a base. What is the meaning of sine theta? So sine theta is p by h, right here. So according to angle this b, what will be the perpendicular? 3. 3 will be a perpendicular and hypotenuse remains same, so 3 by 5. So at the same time, if I will ask you the sine c, according to this theta, it will be a perpendicular 4 and the hypotenuse remains same. So the sine b and sine c both have a different value, because here the theta changes, then value changes also. Sine is nothing if the theta haven't in the sine. So alone sine is nothing. You may get to understand if I will tell you according to this figure find the sine. So what you will be able to find? Nothing. You only know the p by h. Sine theta means sine means p by h. But if we haven't given any type of theta or any angle b, c in the relative, then how will you find sine? But which one is the base? Which one is the perpendicular? You don't know. Only you know the hypotenuse. So how will you write the answer? So sine theta is nothing. It is wrong. If I will write the sine theta, then you could write p by h and its value you could write, because theta is something I angle like this. In relative you could find, but sine is nothing. So if someone is say that sine theta is the sine into my theta, then it is this right, true or false? I asking to you. This is the false. Sine theta is always remain together. This cannot be multiplied, because without the What is the sign? Sign is nothing without the theta. So how could you multiply? It is always in the same thing. Like the human, I will tell you, you are the human. But if your leg is the cut out of your body, how will you walk? This cannot be multiply or add. Like this, it is a part of the body. The sign which along nothing, it is always with the theta. So this is the sine theta. And I think you may understand about what is the sine theta, cos theta, tan theta, and what is the actual meaning of theta. So all the theta is, everyone recognize the theta, it is only the angle between the two rays, but it is the angle between the two rays, it is good, but it is also greater than 0, less than 90. And thank you for today.